Every evening, you probably do what millions of older Americans do. You finish dinner, you walk into the kitchen, you open the refrigerator, and you reach for a piece of fruit before bed. It feels like one of the healthiest choices you could possibly make. But what if that quiet nightly habit is asking far more of your kidneys than they can comfortably handle? After the age of 60, kidney function can decline so silently that many people never realize anything has changed until a routine blood test finally tells a very different story. By then, even foods you have trusted for decades may no longer affect your body the way they once did. The reassuring news is that you do not have to give up fruit at all. You simply need to understand which fruits are quietly working with your kidneys and which ones may be working against them. Today you will discover 8 fruits that are far better suited for an evening routine, including one that stands out clearly as the single best overall choice to enjoy before bed. Before we begin, let me be very clear about something important. My name here is Dr. Mason Hayes, and the goal of this discussion is not to frighten you or to convince you to throw away every fruit in your kitchen. The goal is to help you understand your own body a little better so you can make calmer and wiser choices in the evening. So let us slow down and start at the beginning with a simple question that surprises many people. What actually happens to your kidneys while you sleep? While you rest, your kidneys never truly clock out. They keep quietly filtering waste from your blood, balancing the fluid in your body, and helping to control both potassium and blood pressure. The hidden danger is that kidney function can decline without any warning signs at all. You may feel completely normal, completely fine, while your kidneys are already struggling a little more than they used to when it comes to removing excess potassium. And that matters enormously, because potassium is the mineral that helps your nerves fire, your muscles contract, and your heart beat in a steady rhythm. But when too much potassium builds up in the blood, it can become genuinely dangerous, especially for adults over 60 who are living with kidney disease or reduced kidney function. This is exactly why fruit can feel so confusing. Bananas and oranges are wonderfully healthy foods, yet they also happen to be higher in potassium. That does not mean every single fruit is a problem for your kidneys. Some lower potassium fruits may fit much more comfortably into a kidney-friendly diet, particularly when they are eaten in a sensible portion. But even a kidney-conscious fruit can quietly become too much when the serving is oversized or when it is turned into a concentrated glass of juice. So please remember one simple rule that I will repeat throughout this discussion. Kidney-friendly does not mean unlimited. Your blood test results, your portion size, and your current kidney health all matter together as one complete picture. Now, let us begin with the very first fruit, the strongest overall choice on this entire list for a simple, calming bedtime snack. Fruit number 1, tart cherries. Tart cherries are not the same thing as the large, sweet cherries you might see piled high in the summer. They are smaller. Their flavor is noticeably sharper, almost sour, and they contain plant compounds that have been carefully studied for their possible effects on both sleep and inflammation. One of those compounds is naturally occurring melatonin. Melatonin is part of the gentle internal signal that tells your body it is finally time to wind down and prepare for rest. Now that may sound completely unrelated to your kidneys, but the connection is far more important than most people ever realize. During healthy, restful sleep, your blood pressure normally falls. This natural nighttime drop is sometimes called nocturnal dipping. It gives the blood vessels all throughout your body, including the tiny, delicate vessels involved in kidney filtration, a much-needed period of lower pressure. But when your sleep is interrupted again and again, that healthy rhythm can become unstable. You wake up, your nervous system snaps to attention, your heart rate may climb, and your blood pressure may stay higher for far longer than it should. When this pattern repeats night after night, it can place real ongoing strain on your entire cardiovascular system. Now please hear me carefully. Tart cherries cannot repair damaged kidneys, they are not a treatment for high blood pressure, and they should never replace any sleep medication that has been prescribed to you by your doctor. What they may do, according to research, is gently support sleep quality in some people. They also contain anthocyanins, the deep red and purple pigments associated with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity. That combination gives tart cherries a truly useful role. They can fit neatly into a kidney-conscious eating plan while also feeling right at home inside a calming bedtime routine. Among all the fruits in this discussion, tart cherries stand out most clearly for the nighttime because they pair a relatively modest potassium profile with naturally occurring compounds linked to sleep support. A reasonable serving is about half a cup of whole tart cherries. You could also choose a small serving of unsweetened tart cherry juice roughly 30 to 60 minutes before bed. but read that label very carefully. Many cherry drinks are packed with added sugar. Juice also carries far less fiber than the whole fruit. If you have diabetes, follow a fluid restriction, or need to manage your carbohydrates closely, whole tart cherries may be a much better option than a large glass of juice. And please remember, sweet cherries and tart cherries are not interchangeable. Their nutritional profiles and their typical serving sizes can be genuinely different. The next fruit is one that nearly everyone in the world recognizes. Its real value, however, is not hiding in the sweetness. It is hiding in that deep blue-purple skin. Bedtime fruit number 2, blueberries. Blueberries are so small, so soft, and so easy to eat that it is genuinely possible to lose track of your portion without ever noticing. That is part of what makes them wonderfully convenient, and also part of what makes portion control so important. A measured half cup may fit comfortably into many kidney-conscious meal plans, but when you eat straight from a large carton while watching television, one serving can quietly become 2 or even 3. Blueberries are especially valued for their anthocyanins, those same pigments that give the berries their dark blue and purple color. Researchers have studied these compounds carefully for the ways they may help the body respond to oxidative stress and inflammation. That matters because kidney problems rarely travel alone. Many people over 60 who are watching their kidney health are also managing high blood pressure, diabetes, poor circulation, or heart disease. Those conditions often share the very same underlying troubles: inflammation, blood vessel damage, unstable blood sugar, and long-term strain on the cardiovascular system. Blueberries cannot reverse any of those conditions. What they can offer is fiber and protective plant compounds inside a serving that is relatively modest in potassium compared with many other fruits. For most people, half a cup is a sensible amount. Fresh blueberries are a fine choice. Frozen blueberries are equally convenient and nutritious. Because frozen berries are usually preserved very soon after harvest, they can be a practical alternative when fresh fruit is expensive or simply out of season. Just be careful not to confuse actual blueberries with blueberry-flavored products. A blueberry muffin is not the same as a serving of blueberries, neither is blueberry cereal, and dried blueberries very often carry added sugar and are far easier to overeat. Whenever you possibly can, choose the fruit itself. The third fruit may feel even more surprising. It tastes sweeter. It feels far more like a real dessert, and yet a normal serving can still remain relatively modest in potassium. Bedtime fruit number 3, strawberries. Strawberries carry one clear advantage for older adults. You get a generous burst of flavor without ever needing a large portion. Half a cup of sliced strawberries is relatively low in calories and delivers vitamin C, manganese, folate, fiber, and several beneficial plant compounds. That serving is also generally considered lower in potassium. This makes strawberries a truly useful option when you crave something naturally sweet after dinner, but do not want a heavy dessert sitting in your stomach right before bed. Their bright red color comes partly from antioxidant compounds. Those compounds have been studied for their possible role in helping the body deal with oxidative stress, and oxidative stress matters because it can quietly contribute to damage all throughout the body, including within the very blood vessels involved in kidney filtration. There is also an emotional side to all of this that I never want to ignore. When people first begin worrying about their kidneys, they often feel as though every enjoyable food is suddenly being taken away from them. Less salt, no favorite snacks, no fruit, no dessert, nothing that feels the least bit satisfying. That constant sense of restriction makes any eating plan far harder to follow. A small serving of strawberries can begin to change that experience entirely. Instead of feeling like one more food you must avoid, it can feel like something fresh, sweet, and genuinely enjoyable that still fits your plan. About half a cup of fresh or frozen strawberries is a practical serving. If you are using fresh berries, rinse them shortly before eating. Leaving them wet in the refrigerator may cause them to spoil more quickly. You can pair them with a small amount of plain, unsweetened yogurt if dairy fits your kidney plan and your protein needs. Just do not assume that a large bowl of yogurt is automatically harmless. Some dairy foods carry meaningful amounts of phosphorus, potassium, and protein. The full snack must still fit your personal limits. So far, we have explored 3 colorful berries. The next fruit is far less dramatic. You can find it in almost every grocery store on Earth, and that may be exactly why so many people overlook how genuinely useful it can be. Bedtime fruit number 4, apples. Apples are familiar. They are not exotic. They are rarely marketed as some kind of miracle food, and perhaps that is precisely why they are so easy to underestimate. A whole apple provides fiber, vitamin C, and helpful plant compounds while generally containing less potassium than fruits such as bananas, oranges, and certain melons. One of the most valuable parts of the apple is also the part that many people carelessly throw away, the peel. A large share of the apple's fiber and plant compounds is found in or near that skin. Peeling an apple does not make it unhealthy, but it does quietly remove some of what makes the fruit so filling and beneficial. Fiber slows digestion. It helps you feel satisfied for longer. And when you eat the fruit whole, the fiber helps slow the movement of its natural sugars into your bloodstream. That can be especially helpful for someone who is managing both blood sugar and kidney concerns at the same time. Think for a moment about the difference between apple juice and a whole apple. You can drink a glass of juice in mere seconds. A whole apple takes real time to chew and finish. That single difference affects your fullness, your portion control, and the speed at which sugar is absorbed into your body. For an evening snack, one small or medium apple may be plenty. Eat it slowly. Leave the peel on if you tolerate it well, and choose the whole fruit rather than juice or sweetened apple products. A light sprinkle of cinnamon can add lovely flavor, but cinnamon should never be treated as a substitute for diabetes medication or a medically prescribed eating plan. Apples carry another quiet advantage at night. They are simple, they travel well, they require almost no preparation whatsoever, and they are far less likely than many foods to turn a small snack into an oversized dessert. Sometimes the very best health habit is not the food with the most impressive reputation, it is the food you can realistically keep eating. Fruit number 5 is just as easy to enjoy, perhaps a little too easy. Once a full bowl is sitting right in front of you, stopping after a single serving may honestly be the hardest part. Bedtime fruit number 5. Grapes. Grapes often make people with kidney concerns hesitate. They taste sweet, they are full of water, and because the individual pieces are so tiny, it is easy to assume they should simply be avoided. But a measured serving of grapes is commonly included among lower potassium fruit choices. Red and purple grapes also provide flavonoids and resveratrol, plant compounds found largely in the skin. These compounds have been studied for their possible antioxidant and cardiovascular effects. That connection matters because the kidneys and the heart are deeply linked. When your blood vessels become damaged, both organs may suffer together. When your blood pressure stays elevated, both organs must work harder. And when your circulation grows less efficient, kidney filtration can also be affected. Grapes are certainly not medicine, and the amount of resveratrol in a normal serving of grapes is nowhere near the amount found in a concentrated supplement. Still, grapes can genuinely be part of a balanced, kidney-conscious diet. Once again, the deciding factor is portion size. A small handful, roughly half a cup, is a far more sensible place to begin than a large, overflowing bowl. Red and purple grapes generally contain more deeply colored plant pigments than green grapes do. You can also freeze them. Frozen grapes take longer to eat and can feel wonderfully cooling when your mouth is dry. That may help some people who are trying to manage thirst, but frozen grapes still contain water. If you are on a strict fluid restriction, ask your kidney dietitian how fruit should be counted within your daily fluid allowance. Freezing fruit does not make the fluid disappear, and if chewing or swallowing is difficult for you, please do not eat hard frozen grapes whole. Let them soften first, or cut them into smaller, safer pieces. The next fruit is not known for helping with sleep. It is not especially famous for its sweetness either. What it does offer is something that so many older adults simply do not get enough of: fiber. Bedtime fruit number 6, raspberries. Raspberries contain many tiny seeds. Some people love that texture, while others do not, but those very seeds are part of the reason raspberries pack so much fiber into such a small serving. Half a cup may provide considerably more fiber than the same amount of many other fruits. Why does that matter so much for kidney health? Because your digestive system and your kidneys do not operate in complete isolation from each other. Fiber helps support regular bowel movements. It feeds the beneficial bacteria living in your gut, and when it is part of a balanced meal or snack, it can help slow carbohydrate absorption. For an older adult, constipation is not always a minor inconvenience. It can become genuinely worse when fluid intake is limited, when physical activity declines, when medications change, or when the diet becomes overly restrictive. And when digestion slows down, eating comfortably becomes far more difficult. A fiber-rich food such as raspberries may help support regularity, as long as your fluid allowance and your medical plan make that appropriate. Raspberries also contain anthocyanins and other antioxidant compounds. Their slightly tart flavor pairs beautifully with sweeter fruits, without any need to add sugar. A practical serving is about half a cup. Fresh raspberries spoil quickly, so frozen berries may be more affordable and far easier to keep on hand. You can combine a small amount with tart cherries or blueberries. Just keep one crucial rule firmly in mind. When you mix 3 fruits together, it is dangerously easy to accidentally create 3 full servings. A bowl can look perfectly healthy and still be much larger than your body actually needs. Measure the total amount of fruit in the bowl, not each individual fruit separately. Now, let us step away from the berries entirely. Fruit number 7 is tropical, bright, and just slightly acidic. Many people are honestly surprised to see it appear on a kidney-conscious list at all. Bedtime fruit number 7, pineapple. Pineapple is often used as an alternative to tropical fruits that carry more potassium. A modest serving provides vitamin C and natural sweetness, while generally containing less potassium than bananas or certain melons. Fresh pineapple also contains bromelain. Bromelain is a group of enzymes that has been studied for possible effects on inflammation and digestion. That does not mean pineapple can treat inflammation inside your kidneys. The amount of bromelain in a serving of fruit is not the same as the amount used in concentrated research products. Bromelain supplements should also never be taken casually, especially if you use blood-thinning medication or have a medical procedure coming up soon. The fruit itself is the simpler, safer option. For an evening snack, about half a cup of pineapple chunks may be plenty. Fresh pineapple contains active enzymes, though the exact amount varies. Canned pineapple is normally heated during processing, which reduces much of that enzyme activity. Even so, unsweetened canned pineapple packed in juice may still be a practical choice for some people. Drain the liquid, check the label carefully for added sugar, and keep your portion moderate. Avoid pineapple packed in heavy syrup that can turn a light serving of fruit into a concentrated source of added sugar in an instant. Pineapple may also cause heartburn in some people, especially when eaten close to bedtime. If you notice burning, coughing, or reflux after lying down, simply move your pineapple to an earlier part of the day. A food cannot truly support your nighttime routine if it keeps waking you up. Now we have reached fruit number 8. It may carry the strongest health reputation of anything on this entire list. You see it printed on juice bottles, on supplement labels, in dried snack bags, and on products promoted specifically for urinary health. But this is also the fruit where the packaging can be the most misleading of all. Bedtime fruit number 8, cranberries. Cranberries have been linked with urinary tract health for many, many years. That reputation is not entirely without reason. They contain compounds known as proanthocyanins. These compounds may make it more difficult for certain bacteria to attach to the lining of the urinary tract. Research suggests that cranberry products may modestly lower the risk of recurring urinary tract infections in some women who experience them frequently. The problem is that this benefit is very often wildly overstated. Cranberries do not treat an infection that is already present. They do not cure a kidney infection. They cannot replace antibiotics when antibiotics are medically necessary, and they should never be used as an excuse to delay treatment when your symptoms are clearly getting worse. If you have burning during urination, fever, chills, pain in your back or side, blood in your urine, confusion, nausea, or symptoms that are worsening quickly, please contact a healthcare professional right away. In an older adult, an untreated infection may become serious very, very quickly. Now we arrive at the hidden issue. Raw cranberries are extremely tart. Most people simply cannot enjoy eating them plain, so food manufacturers frequently add sugar and sometimes a truly enormous amount of it. Cranberry juice cocktail may contain only a small fraction of actual cranberry juice. The rest may be water, sweeteners, and other types of juice entirely. Dried cranberries may carry so much added sugar that they honestly have more in common with candy than with unsweetened whole fruit. That creates a deeply uncomfortable contradiction. A product marketed for urinary or kidney health may also deliver a large load of sugar for someone managing diabetes, excess weight, or kidney disease linked to poor blood sugar control. That is a genuine concern. Choose unsweetened cranberry products whenever you possibly can. Look for 100% cranberry juice rather than cranberry juice cocktail. Even then, remember that pure juice can still be concentrated and acidic, so keep your serving small. Fresh or frozen whole cranberries can also be added in modest amounts to other fruit. Unsweetened dried cranberries are another option, although they are harder to find and easier to overeat because the water has been removed, and there is one more precaution to consider. Cranberry products may interact with warfarin in some individuals, although the research is not completely consistent. If you take warfarin or another blood-thinning medication, speak with your pharmacist or prescribing clinician before making cranberry products a daily habit. This is exactly what makes cranberry such an important final fruit. The fruit itself is not necessarily the biggest problem. The real issue is very often the form in which people buy it. Now, when should you speak with your doctor or a kidney dietitian? Each fruit in this discussion may fit into a kidney-conscious diet for some people. That does not mean every fruit is appropriate for every person or for every stage of kidney disease. If you have stage 4 or stage 5 chronic kidney disease, receive dialysis, have previously had high potassium, or follow strict limits for fluids or phosphorus, your portions absolutely need to be personalized. Lower potassium foods still add potassium to your daily total, and potassium needs can vary far more than most people realize. One person may need to reduce potassium, another person receiving dialysis may have the exact opposite problem and struggle with potassium levels that are too low. That is precisely why copying someone else's kidney diet can be so risky. Their blood test results are not your results, their medications may be entirely different, and the amount of kidney function they still have may be very different from your own. If you are over 60 and have not had your kidney function checked recently, ask your healthcare professional whether testing would be appropriate for you. Common tests may include blood creatinine, an estimated glomerular filtration rate, electrolytes such as potassium, and a urine albumin to creatinine ratio. Viewed together, these numbers can tell you far more than symptoms alone ever could. Kidney disease may develop silently. You can feel normal, eat normally, urinate normally, and still have early changes that only ever appear in your blood or urine tests. Knowing your numbers can turn a vague, nagging worry into a much clearer and calmer plan. Let me share a more practical way to think about fruit. Consider Carol. Carol is a composite example based on concerns commonly seen in older adults with early-stage kidney disease. She is 72 years old. She has stage 2 chronic kidney disease. She also sleeps poorly and has endured several urinary tract infections. After hearing that too much potassium could be dangerous, Carol made a choice that seemed perfectly sensible at the time. She stopped eating almost all fruit, no bananas, no oranges, no berries, no apples, nothing at all. At first she felt safer, but over time her evening diet became more and more restrictive. She replaced fruit with packaged snacks that looked small but secretly contained far more sodium and added sugar than she ever realized. She felt deprived. Her constipation became more frequent. And because she truly believed that all fruit was dangerous, she stopped paying any attention to portion sizes and the real differences between individual fruits. In her mind, every fruit belonged to one single category: bad. Her eating plan was eventually reviewed in the context of her blood tests and her personal dietary limits. Rather than adding every fruit back all at once, she took a slower, gentler approach. On some evenings, she enjoyed a measured serving of tart cherries. On others, she chose blueberries or strawberries. When she wanted something more filling, she ate a small apple. She used unsweetened cranberry products only when they fit her plan, and only after discussing them with her healthcare team. Nothing miraculous happened. Her kidneys did not suddenly become young again. No single food cured her condition. What changed was that her routine became genuinely easier to live with. She no longer felt that eating for her kidneys meant surrendering every food she loved. Instead of fearing entire food groups, she learned to focus quietly on portions and personal limits. That single change in mindset made it far easier for her to stay consistent with the rest of her health plan. And that, truly, is the realistic goal. Not a miracle, not a cure, just a routine that supports your health and is practical enough to actually continue. So now we can return to the very question we started with. Fruit is not automatically bad for your kidneys. What matters is the fruit you choose, the amount you eat, and how well your kidneys are functioning right now. And among the 8 fruits we have discussed together today, tart cherries stand out as the best overall bedtime option. They provide protective plant pigments, they can fit into a relatively kidney-conscious portion, and they contain naturally occurring compounds associated with sleep support. That does not mean you should eat them without any limits at all. The simplest and safest way to begin is to try one fruit at a time. Tonight, if tart cherries fit your personal eating plan, begin with about half a cup of whole tart cherries, roughly 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Do not add sugar, do not wash them down with a large glass of juice, and do not pile several more servings of fruit on top. You can then use this simple 7-night rotation to see how each fruit fits your routine. Night 1, about half a cup of tart cherries. Night 2, about half a cup of blueberries. Night 3, about half a cup of strawberries. Night 4, 1 small or medium apple. Night 5, a small handful of red or purple grapes, roughly half a cup. Night 6, about half a cup of raspberries. Night 7. About half a cup of fresh pineapple. Choose only one fruit each night at first. Notice carefully how you feel afterward. Pay attention to your digestion, your blood sugar when necessary, any reflux, your thirst, your sleep quality, and how often you wake to urinate. Once you truly understand how your body responds to each fruit on its own, you may then choose to combine 2 or 3 inside one small bowl. Just keep the total amount close to half a cup. For example, you could use a few tart cherries, a small spoonful of blueberries, and 2 sliced strawberries. The whole bowl, not each individual fruit, should add up to about half a cup. Cranberries need a slightly different approach. Choose unsweetened forms. Do not assume cranberry juice cocktail is healthy simply because the word cranberry appears on the label. Never use cranberry products to treat an active urinary tract infection, and if you take warfarin or another blood thinner, speak with your pharmacist or prescribing clinician before using cranberry regularly. Above all, please remember this: kidney-friendly does not mean unlimited. The healthiest fruit is not necessarily the one with the longest list of vitamins on its label. It is the one that fits your body, your portion limits, your medications, and your current level of kidney function. If you have advanced kidney disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, strict potassium limits, or a fluid restriction, please speak with your doctor or a kidney dietitian before changing your diet in any meaningful way. You do not have to transform your entire life overnight. You can begin with one small decision, one measured serving, one evening snack that simply suits your body a little better than the last one did. This is Dr. Mason Hayes, and I truly hope this has given you a calmer way to think about the fruit sitting in your kitchen. If this video helped you today, please like it, share it with someone over 60 who may quietly benefit from it, and subscribe to Senior Healthy Food. Let me know down in the comments which fruit you will try first. Getting older does not mean you have to accept becoming weaker, or smaller, or more afraid of your own refrigerator. Sometimes a single small change before bed is genuinely enough to begin building a healthier, steadier routine. In the very next video, I will show you 5 everyday drinks that may quietly work against healthy kidney function, including one that is widely marketed as a healthy choice, because sometimes the product that looks the safest on the front of the label tells a very different story on the back. So stay with me, take good care of yourself tonight, and I will see you again very soon.